The truth is out, and it's louder than ever. Politicians are nothing but puppets on strings. While they dance for the system, you, the chosen ones, hold the real power, the true authority. This isn't a whisper, it's a roar, a call to arms. It's time to take back what's yours. Feel it in your bones. This world is yours to command. Politicians are nothing but actors on a stage, their every move dictated by hidden hands pulling the strings. They stand before you rehearsing their lines, wearing masks of authority and pretending to hold power. But their power is a lie, a hollow performance written and directed by forces you will never see. Behind the curtain, hidden agendas dictate their every word, every action, every decision. They are not leaders, they are tools, they are not visionaries, they are instruments of control. And you, the chosen ones, are not the audience of this spectacle. You are the architects of destiny. You hold the pen, the real authority to rewrite this script. Their theater depends on your silence, your compliance, your belief in the illusion. But the truth burns brighter than any stage light. They cannot stand without you. The strings that bind them stretch to the unseen puppeteers, but the real power is yours to seize. Without you, their stage collapses, their masks fall, and their play comes to an end. Every promise they make, every speech they give, is a carefully crafted lie, meant to distract you from your own strength. Do not be deceived by the costumes or fooled by the drama. The system they serve was built to control you, but it cannot survive if you choose to take the stage. Drop a comment. I take the stage if you're done falling for their lies and ready to own your power. The Panama Papers exploded into global consciousness in 2016, ripping the veil off the hidden wealth of the world's political and financial elite. The leak of 11.5 million documents from Mossack Fonseca, a Panamanian law firm specializing in offshore accounts, exposed how leaders, billionaires and corporations hid trillions of dollars in shadowy tax havens. While preaching sacrifice and austerity to the masses, these figures quietly shielded their wealth, avoiding taxes and siphoning resources meant to uplift societies. Their actions were not isolated. They were a coordinated effort to protect power while leaving you to bear the burden of economic hardship. The revelations implicated presidents, prime ministers and influential families, showcasing the depths of hypocrisy that define their control. And yet, as fast as these truths surfaced, the system rushed to bury them. Controlled media narratives flooded the airwaves, focusing on isolated names or downplaying the implications. They wanted you to forget, to move on, to believe that this scandal was an anomaly instead of a window into the rot at the heart of global governance. Public trust was shattered for a moment, but the system knows how to extinguish outrage before it sparks real change. By fragmenting the story and spinning it as too complex, they kept you distracted, ensuring the machinery of corruption kept turning. You were told these offshore accounts were legal loopholes, but don't be deceived. This wasn't legality. It was theft in plain sight. These leaders built walls to protect their fortunes while dismantling the protections that should have been yours. They cut your healthcare, slashed your education, raised your taxes, and told you there was no alternative. All the while, their wealth sat untouched in secret vaults overseas, growing larger with every sacrifice you were forced to make. Do not let them fool you. The Panama Papers weren't an exception. They were a rule, a glimpse into the sprawling network of corruption that feeds off your labor and your trust. They exposed a truth they desperately want you to forget. The system is designed to serve them, not you. Their policies, their speeches, their promises, they are weapons to keep you compliant, tools to maintain their grip on power. Chosen ones, the outrage they tried to smother must now burn brighter. They want you to believe that justice is impossible, that the system is too vast, too entrenched to fight. But the Panama Papers proved something they fear. You are watching. You see their lies, their schemes, their betrayal, and once the truth is seen, it cannot be unseen. They can no longer hide behind the illusion of authority because their authority is a lie. It is time to stop accepting their stories and start demanding accountability. Edward Snowden shattered the illusion of freedom in 2013 when he exposed the depth of surveillance being carried out by governments against their own people. The documents he leaked revealed the existence of programs like PRISM, showing how intelligence agencies, in collaboration with major tech corporations, were collecting and storing data on millions without their consent. Your calls, messages, emails, and even your movements were all being watched, not for your safety, but to control you. This wasn't about national security, it was about power, an unprecedented invasion of your life carried out in secrecy, justified by lies and shielded by the very institutions that claim to serve you. And what was his reward for exposing this betrayal? Persecution. He was branded a traitor, forced to flee his country, hunted across borders for daring to tell you the truth. The system wanted to silence him because his revelations threatened to wake you up. They want you to believe that he was the criminal, not the government spying on their own citizens. They told you it was for your protection, but there was no protection, only control. They weaponized fear to justify stripping you of your privacy, turning every aspect of your life into a data point for their machine. You were never asked for permission. You were never told the truth. But now you know. Snowden's exile is proof of their desperation to keep you blind. They fear what happens when you refuse to be watched. Another person who exposed the lies of the powerful is Chelsea Manning. In 2010, Manning leaked hundreds of thousands of classified documents, unveiling the brutal realities of the Iraq War, indiscriminate killings, civilian casualties, and the deliberate cover-up of war crimes. These weren't isolated incidents. They were systemic atrocities carried out under the guise of freedom and liberation. Manning didn't just expose data. She exposed the truth of a war machine built on the bodies of the innocent, fueled by deception, and protected by the very institutions that demanded your loyalty. The footage of a US military helicopter gunning down unarmed civilians, including journalists, was undeniable proof of crimes they never wanted you to see. For her courage, Manning was vilified and silenced. The system, desperate to preserve its facade, locked her in prison for years, subjecting her to inhumane treatment to send a message: speak the truth and you will suffer. They called her a traitor, not because she endangered lives, but because she threatened their lies. The same leaders who claimed to defend justice and human rights buried her under accusations to protect their own crimes. They feared what her revelations would ignite in you, the awareness that their wars are not fought for you, but for profit and power. Manning's persecution is proof of their weakness. They rely on your silence and complicity, but every truth exposed is a crack in their facade. The question is not why she acted, it's why you aren't acting now. Stop right there. The following is a brief message for the chosen few. This is not for everyone. Seriously, if you're here hoping for puppy memes or a safe space, turn back now. The Obsidian Inner Order powered by Astral Atom is where the real chosen ones gather, people who've stared down the Archons, shredded the Matrix, and still had time to manifest parking spots at Whole Foods. If you're hearing this, it's because fate decided you might be worth it. Inside, you'll unlock forbidden content too spicy for YouTube, like the Matrix once you broke, and the universe is your ATM machine, a step-by-step guide to making the universe work for you. And yes, our modern manifestation mechanics grimoire is in there, teaching you how to turn your messy living room into an abundance vortex while channeling literal magic. But the real treasure, our private Discord and weekly calls where over 400 chosen ones hang out. No muggles allowed. If you think you've got what it takes to join the #1 Ascension Nexus for chosen ones, the link to the Obsidian Inner Order is in the description. Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning didn't just expose secrets, they tore down walls of deception that protected systems of control. They stood against an empire of lies, unveiling the spying, the murders, the corruption that governments tried to bury in classified files and corporate boardrooms. For telling you the truth, they were hunted, imprisoned, exiled. They were punished not because they lied, but because they dared to reveal how deeply you've been lied to. Their actions weren't crimes. They were acts of rebellion against a system designed to keep you blind, silent and submissive. These brave souls shook the Matrix much like you, chosen ones, disrupt the false realities built to enslave you. Every truth you uncover, every illusion you destroy, sends shockwaves through the same fragile system. They fear you because you refuse to accept their narrative. You, like Snowden and Manning, threaten their greatest weapon, control over what you believe. Their fear is evident in their overreaction, in their efforts to silence, smear and crush dissent. They know that one voice can awaken millions. This isn't just their fight, it's yours. The system that imprisoned Manning and forced Snowden into exile is the same one that manipulates your mind and steals your power. Every crack in the matrix is a victory, but it's not enough to simply see the truth. You must act. They are afraid of the chosen ones because you hold the power to destroy their illusion entirely. Use it. Break the chains. The world you see is a carefully crafted illusion, a stage where the actors are propped up to distract you. The real power doesn't lie with the politicians parading their influence or the governments pretending to protect you. It lies in the hands of the unseen puppeteers, entities so deeply entrenched in the system that they dictate the rules without ever stepping into the spotlight. These forces operate above laws, beyond accountability, and their grip extends into every aspect of your life. They are not here to serve you, they are here to control you. Let's pull back the curtain and expose them for what they are. Big Pharma doesn't cure, Big Pharma controls. They profit not from your wellness, but from your suffering, ensuring their wealth grows every time you reach for help. Their power isn't in medicine, it's in manipulation. They sell you treatments, not solutions, keeping you trapped in a cycle of dependency while they rake in billions. Every overpriced pill, every withheld cure, every patent that puts profits over lives is a weapon aimed at you. They don't care if you're healthy, they only care if you pay. You've been told their mission is to save lives, but the truth is darker. These entities hold the strings, dictating who lives and who suffers, deciding which diseases are worth their attention and which ones are ignored because the return on investment is too low. They patent essential drugs to block competition, price life-saving treatments out of reach, and suppress alternative therapies to maintain their grip. Their power doesn't end in the lab. It stretches into politics, where they fund campaigns, influence laws, and ensure that no regulation can threaten their empire. Chosen ones, you are not patients to them. You are commodities. They have turned your health into a marketplace, your life into a statistic, your pain into their profit. Their control depends on your acceptance of their lies, but you are the real power. Demand accountability, demand transparency, demand a system that values your life over their profit. Their strings only hold if you let them, cut them. The military-industrial complex thrives on war. It's not about defense or freedom, it's about money, blood money. Every missile fired, every drone strike, every occupation is another payday for corporations that profit off destruction. They don't seek peace because peace doesn't pay. Their power depends on conflict, and they'll manufacture it if they must. They lobby governments, manipulate public opinion, and sell you fear to keep the war machine running, feeding billions into their coffers, while you pay the price with your taxes, your security, and your future. You've been told these wars are for democracy, for safety, for justice, but the truth is stark and cold. These wars are for weapons contracts, for resource control, for endless profit streams. The ones who send troops into battle do so from luxury, far removed from the carnage they create. They don't fight, they don't bleed, but they reap every reward as nations crumble under their orchestrated chaos. The military-industrial machine needs enemies, real or fabricated, to justify its existence, and it will stop at nothing to create them. Chosen ones, these wars are not yours. They rob your resources, destroy lives, and destabilize nations, all while the puppeteers grow wealthier. The power to stop this machine lies with you. Refuse to buy into their lies, refuse to let them define your enemies, and refuse to let them manipulate your future. Their empire of war depends on your silence. Speak up. Cut off their supply. Force the machine to stop. Corporate lobbyists don't serve you, they control you. They don't just influence governments, they dictate them. These entities sit in the shadows, crafting laws designed to serve their interests, then handing them to politicians who simply sign without question. Every regulation that favors corporations over workers, every loophole that shields the wealthy from taxes, every bill that crushes small businesses under the weight of monopolies, it all begins with the lobbyists. They don't represent people, they represent power, writing the rules of a game they've already rigged. You've been told democracy gives you a voice, but their money drowns it out. Billions are spent each year to buy influence, ensuring their agenda always comes first. They don't wait for elections. They don't rely on public support. They move quietly, behind closed doors, shaping policies that put profits over lives, dismantling protections meant for you and expanding their grip on every aspect of society. Healthcare, education, energy, nothing is sacred, nothing is safe. Chosen ones, they have corrupted the very system meant to protect you. These lobbyists aren't just influencers, they are the architects of inequality. The laws they write strip you of power while enriching the few. They count on your ignorance and apathy to maintain their control. But you see the truth now. The system they've built cannot stand if you refuse to play by their rules, tear down their scripts, rewrite the laws, take back the power they've stolen. The World Economic Forum and the Bilderberg Group are not gatherings for your benefit. They are the meeting rooms of power. Behind closed doors, unelected elites, corporate giants, bankers, and political figures plot the future they want, not the one you need. They do not answer to you, yet their decisions shape your life. These groups symbolize the consolidation of control, where a select few craft policies, drive economies, and set agendas designed to secure their dominance while leaving you with crumbs. You are told these meetings are about collaboration, but they are about control. These are not discussions of equality or freedom. They are strategies to tighten their grip on wealth and influence. They discuss how to move markets, manipulate industries, and steer governments, all without your input. Chosen ones, the future they design is built on your silence. Their plans unravel when you take back the narrative, reject their vision, build your own. The World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg Group, and other secretive organizations are not built to serve you. They exist to consolidate power in the hands of a few. Behind closed doors, the most powerful in politics, corporations, and finance gather, not to represent your interests, but to protect their own. They speak of global cooperation, of economic stability, of progress, but their true agenda is control. Decisions that shape the world, policies, trade deals, technological developments, are made in these shadowy rooms with no accountability to you. You're told these gatherings are for the greater good, but who benefits? Not you. Their wealth grows, their power expands, their networks deepen, while you face rising costs, stagnant wages, and dwindling freedoms. These groups don't operate in secrecy because they're protecting you. They do it because they're protecting themselves. They know transparency would expose the lies, the corruption, and the systemic greed that drives their agenda. Chosen ones, these institutions are the architects of inequality, creating a world where the few thrive while the many struggle. They rely on your acceptance, on your belief that these elites know better, that their plans are beyond your comprehension. But you see the truth now. Their interests are not your interests. Their control only lasts as long as you remain silent. Speak up. Demand answers. Demand transparency. The walls they've built to shield their power are paper thin once you decide to tear them down. They fear you because you cannot be controlled. You, the chosen ones, are a force they cannot buy, manipulate, or silence. Your voice tears through the carefully constructed lies they've fed the world for generations. While they rely on compliance and ignorance, you awaken the collective consciousness, exposing their systems of exploitation for what they truly are. Prisons of the mind and soul. They tremble at your defiance because it spreads like wildfire, igniting others to question, to resist, to rise. Your refusal to accept their narrative shatters their illusion of authority. Every truth you reveal weakens the foundations of their control. They depend on fear, but you bring courage. They rely on division, but you foster unity. When you act, you catalyze a ripple effect that moves through the masses, breaking chains they never thought could be broken. The chosen ones are not just individuals. You are a collective awakening, the embodiment of power reclaiming itself. They will try to silence you with propaganda, distract you with division, and overwhelm you with doubt. But their efforts are futile. They cannot extinguish a fire that burns within millions. You are not just observers. You are catalysts for transformation. Your role is not to simply awaken yourself, it is to awaken the world. Every system of control crumbles when the people refuse to be enslaved. Chosen ones, your strength lies in your clarity, your unity, and your unshakable refusal to bow. This is why they fear you. The system has trained the masses to ridicule what they fear and reject what they don't understand. Your authenticity, chosen ones, is a threat to a world addicted to facades. You shine too brightly, revealing truths others are too afraid to confront. This light exposes their insecurities, their self-deceptions, and the hollow constructs they cling to for comfort. Instead of embracing the clarity you bring, they resent you for it. Their fear turns to ridicule, their discomfort to hostility, as they attempt to undermine what they cannot control. You're not rejected because you are wrong. You're rejected because you refuse to conform. Your courage to stand outside the system is a mirror that forces others to see their own chains. The system thrives on this alienation. It conditions people to isolate you, to cast you out, to make you doubt your path. It wants you to feel alone, but you are not. You are part of a growing tide that cannot be silenced, a movement that dismantles the illusions they so desperately protect. The sharpest wounds come from those you trusted most. The system, in its desperation to control you, often turns your closest allies into its tools. Envy, manipulation, or fear of your power drives them to betray you, feeding the very machine you stand against. They are pawns, pressed into service by a system that exploits their insecurities and fears. Your light threatens to outshine theirs, your courage reminds them of their submission, and rather than rise with you, they choose to drag you down. This betrayal isn't new. It's the same pattern used to isolate and silence those who challenge the status quo. Whistleblowers, truth-tellers, and disruptors are always betrayed first by those closest to them. Friends, family, even those who once stood by your side can be twisted into weapons of the system. Their betrayal is calculated, not random. It's designed to make you doubt yourself, to break your spirit, to convince you that you're alone. But you are not alone. The system's first weapon against you is deception. Smear campaigns are not just tools, they are the default strategy to silence anyone who threatens the status quo. Lies and rumors spread like wildfire, infecting your reputation, turning allies into skeptics, and painting your truth as rebellion. They'll call your wisdom arrogance, your conviction delusion, and your divine mission madness. Whether in your workplace, your family, or your community, their goal is to isolate you, to make you doubt your purpose, and to strip you of your voice. They know the power of perception and weaponize it to turn others against you. The system whispers its lies into the ears of the fearful, painting you as dangerous, unstable, or selfish. These attacks aren't random. They're calculated to undermine your credibility, to make others question your motives, and to crush your spirit before you can awaken others. They rely on fear and ignorance to turn truth into threat, knowing that society is quick to judge and slow to seek understanding. The system knows it cannot break you outright, so it seeks to weaken you through slow, deliberate exhaustion. Toxic relationships, relentless negativity, and manufactured chaos are its weapons of choice. They're not random. They're designed to sap your energy, drain your spirit, and make you question your strength. Those closest to you may become conduits of this energy drain, manipulated into spewing doubt, anger, or fear. Their negativity seeps into your mind, eroding your focus and filling your days with meaningless conflict. You're told these battles are normal, that this exhaustion is just life, but the truth is far darker. These forces aim to distract and derail you, to keep you caught in cycles of self-doubt and frustration, so you never rise to fulfill your role. They don't need to destroy you if they can make you destroy yourself. Every toxic interaction, every draining exchange, every moment wasted on fruitless arguments is another step away from your mission. The system doesn't stop at controlling the physical world. It seeks to infiltrate your very spirit. Spiritual sabotage is its most insidious weapon. You feel it in sudden energetic blockages, moments where your power seems to wane for no reason. Dark forces, unseen but deeply felt, work to cloud your mind, twisting your dreams into nightmares meant to sow fear and confusion. These traps aren't accidental. They are designed to keep you disconnected from your purpose, to drown your clarity in chaos, and make you question your path. You might wake from a restless sleep feeling drained, the echoes of a nightmare lingering like a shadow over your day. Thoughts that are not your own creep into your mind, whispering doubts, amplifying fears, and making the way forward feel impossible. These forces know that if they can disrupt your inner peace, they can disrupt your outer power. They aim to cut you off from the divine source, severing the flow of energy that fuels your mission. God has seen it all, every betrayal, every attack, every scheme that tried to break you. Nothing escapes divine awareness, and every act against you has been recorded for justice. They thought their lies would go unnoticed, that their weapons would prosper, but God's hand is upon you, shielding you from harm. Unseen forces have fought battles on your behalf, dismantling plots before they could take root. You are not forsaken, you are fortified. Justice is not delayed, it is already in motion. What was stolen from you, your peace, your dignity, your purpose, will be restored and multiplied. The scales will tip, and those who schemed against you will watch their plans collapse under the weight of divine truth. Every falsehood they built will crumble as the light of your truth shines brighter than their darkness. They underestimated the power that surrounds you, the favor that cannot be taken, the protection that cannot be penetrated. Stop looking to them for answers. You are the answer. Every corrupt system, every hidden agenda, and every lie will crumble under the weight of its own deception, but only if you take your place as the true authority. You hold the power to dismantle the false realities they've built. Speak out boldly, even when they try to silence you. Refuse to bow to their narratives, and align with truth and integrity in everything you do. Build communities that reject their control, that stand as bastions of authenticity and justice, unshaken by their fear tactics. Chosen ones, the world is yours to reclaim. Stand tall, for you are not followers. You are leaders, architects of a new order that values freedom, truth, and unity. History proves that no empire of lies can endure. The strings will snap, and the puppeteers will be dragged into the light, exposed for the frauds they are. Their power is fleeting, but your authority is eternal. The time is now. Rise, reclaim your divine sovereignty. Share your story, your truth, and your light with the world. Each voice is a crack in their facade, each action a blow to their control. Together, you are unstoppable. Chosen ones, your authority isn't given, it's divine. The world is waiting for you to lead.